Thanks.
Speaker Boehner, tucked in on page 1599 is provision in this government funding bill that would allow an individual to donate up to $324,000 to the party committee. Is that what you guys meant by being the most transparent and open Congress in 2010 when you came in?
The Congress is very concerned about taxpayer funding of political activities. And if you'll recall correctly, when we did the Children's Research Act, we eliminated taxpayer funding of conventions. And this provision's worked out in a bipartisan way to allow those who are organizing conventions the opportunity to raise the money from private sources as opposed to using taxpayer funds.
Speaker, that's one provision, but that's not the only. It deals with D.C. marijuana law, campaign finance is one, new light bulbs, rules on portraits. This is exactly the kind of Christmas tree bill throwing everything on that you campaigned on and you against. You promised not to.
Understand, all these provisions in this bill have been worked out in a bipartisan, bicameral fashion, or they wouldn't be in the bill.
Even if they've been worked out, though, in a bicameral, bipartisan fashion, that doesn't take away from that you campaigned against these kind of things. How can this new American Congress be voting for this and the American people are getting anything different than they've had before?
Well, when we get to the end of a two-year session of Congress, a lot of work gets built up that never gets across one floor or the other floor. And as a result, when we get to the end of session, members are trying to find a way to get their legislation across the finish line because of not really issues on the House side, more issues on the Senate side to facilitate their ability to move legislation. Some of this stuff ends up in one bill.
Mr. Speaker, here looking at this bill here at the time, you said last week that waiting to this week to do it, there's a lot of negotiation had to happen. There are a lot of members we talked to in there who said, "Wait a minute, you're trying to jam this up against the final deadline and jam the Senate so they can't filibuster." Is that one of the reasons, or did it legitimately take this long to hammer this out?
It took this long to put this bill together. When you look at the number of agreements that had to be struck on funding levels, on riders, and other provisions, there's a lot in this bill. And the appropriators did, frankly, a marvelous job. I wish it had been done last week, but it wasn't. And so here we are. I'm proud of the work that they've done. Look forward to it passing with bipartisan majorities in the House and Senate in the coming days. Thanks.